his ass on a plane. It can't be easy. He's not. What? He's not a young man. He remembers when the Dead Sea was alive. He told the Wailing Wall to keep it down. No, he's not a young man.
I don't think we need to get a panel of gerontologists to look at the situation. We've all known old people who are like, yeah, we'll take the keys now.
I'm so disappointed that you, like me, not so young, would say this. It's such bullshit. First of all, the same week that he did this, Kamala Harris was over in Korea saying our longtime ally, North Korea.
Again, the bar is low.
Joe Biden might no longer be in the Oval Office, but don't think for a second he's out of the spotlight. Sure, the heat from critics and late-night comedians like Bill Maher may have cooled a bit, but rewind to his presidency, and Biden wasn't just in the hot seat. He was the seat, the fire, and the whole flaming BBQ pit. In this video, we're diving into the most brutal, no-holds-barred moments when Bill Maher unleashed his signature wit and scorched President Biden so thoroughly, we half expected mashed potatoes to show up on the side. So grab the popcorn, pull up a seat, and maybe heap some aloe handy, because this roast.
No shame to it.
Thank you.
Old,
yeah.
But there are, but there's natural processes that happen, and it seems like he is certainly losing his acuity, which a lot of older men do, and compensating it with this wonderful ability to get people to work together. But I would say, I don't think we need to get a panel of gerontologists to look at the situation. We've all known old people who are like, yeah, we'll take the keys now.
I'm so disappointed that you, like me, not so young, would say this. It's such bullshit. First of all, the same week that he did this, Kamala Harris was over in Korea saying our longtime ally, North Korea.
At this point, you've got to ask, who's the bigger liability for the Democrats, Joe Biden or Kamala Harris? Let's give Biden some credit. At least he's got age as an excuse. The man's not mixing up the Constitution with a cheesecake recipe on purpose. That's just Father Time doing his thing. But Kamala Harris, she's on a completely different wavelength of chaos. Her speeches aren't just confusing, they're a full-blown riddle wrapped in a word salad, delivered with the urgency of a TED talk and the clarity of static noise. Even AI taps out trying to make sense of her. She doesn't just serve up confusion, she throws the whole produce aisle at you. And let's not pretend Biden's biggest issue was just a few slip-ups. The real problem, the cover-up, a whole squad of handlers trying to convince the world everything's fine while he's mistaking his sister for his wife on live TV. But Harris, she's flying solo. No spin team can polish it when she goes full Vive and calls North Korea an ally of the United States. That's not a simple gaffe, that's a diplomatic disaster. A middle schooler with a crumpled map could tell you that's not how global alliances work. So who's dragging the ticket down more, the aging grandfather or the queen of confusion? Either way, grab some popcorn. This political sitcom isn't getting canceled anytime soon. And meanwhile, Bill Maher's over in the corner having an absolute field day.
The same guy, he was always a gaffe machine.
You're right.
It's just, he's actually more disciplined than he used to be.
Well, from a message point of view, that's true. Look, I think the reality is, when Biden is strong, he's very strong. And when he's weak, he's very weak. And that's what people are responding to. And I think, from my point of view, you got a couple of challenges here. If the public in 2024 sees what they perceive to be a weak insider versus a scary outsider.
Joe Biden's gaffes are the stuff of legend. Remember when he introduced Kamala Harris as President Harris? Classic. Or that gem where he claimed he'd been in the Senate for 120 years. We had no idea we'd elected a vampire. And who could forget the unforgettable? We choose truth over facts. Whatever that's supposed to mean. But the real twist, when Van Jones jumped into the ring, tossing Donald Trump's name into the mix just to deflect from Biden getting roasted. Seriously, the man couldn't handle a Biden joke without launching into a full-blown Trump tantrum. We've actually got a whole video unpacking Van Jones and his double-standard drama when it comes to Trump. Spoiler, it's a masterclass in political hypocrisy. Let's be real, the legacy media's non-stop obsession with hating Trump. That's part of what made him a political powerhouse. Voters aren't fools. They can sniff out bias from a mile away, and when the media turns up the heat, Americans don't fold. they double down.
Biden, our president, went to Israel this week. Nothing to do with the war, just wanted a break from the tension in D.C. But I think this was his best week as president, Joe Biden. This was his, I think so, his finest hour. I mean, and then he gets his ass on a plane. It can't be easy. He's not, what? He's not a young man. He remembers when the Dead Sea was alive. He told the Wailing Wall to keep it down. No, he's not a young man.
And this is the guy people wanted to run for a second term, a man so deep into retirement age, he can barely remember what he had for breakfast, let alone the nuclear codes. Let's be real, Joe Biden didn't need a re-election campaign. He needed a recliner, a cozy blanket, and a warm cup of cocoa. The Democrats? They've lost the plot entirely. Their frontrunner stumbles on air, mumbles through speeches, and confuses world leaders like he's playing a live-action game of Guess Who. And Kamala Harris? She was treated like a political backup generator. Only problem is, when the power goes out, she doesn't turn on. This isn't leadership. It's a political train wreck in slow motion. And if the Democratic Party doesn't snap out of it soon, they won't just lose elections. They'll go the way of Blockbuster. Outdated, irrelevant, and remembered only for their spectacular crash and burn. Tick-tock, Democrats, tick-tock.
The world's grandpa. He can't visit without slipping a little money. You know, just get some missiles. Don't tell Grandma. But then he came home. He made a great speech about Israel. At the end of it, they caught this on camera. Somebody yells, "Clear," and then somebody goes, "That was great." Of course, great, the bar for great in the Biden White House is like if Hunter doesn't wander in with a heart on. Just to put it in perspective.
It's almost comedy at this point. While Joe Biden was out there fumbling through speeches like a confused grandpa at open mic night, his son Hunter was busy giving him an entirely different kind of headache. Remember the infamous Hunter Biden laptop saga? Oh yeah, the one packed with enough scandal to power an entire season of House of Cards. And let's not forget how the mainstream media treated it like a classified mission, doing everything short of skydiving through laser grids to bury the story just long enough to protect Papa Biden before the 2020 election. Fast forward a few years, and guess what? The truth always leaks. Now it's not just conservative corners raising eyebrows. The very same outlets that once called it Russian disinformation are awkwardly walking it back like they tripped over their own narrative. Meanwhile, public trust in the media is circling the drain. This wasn't journalism, it was election interference wrapped in a press badge. And here's the kicker. Biden won. But now the skeletons aren't just falling out of the closet. Hunter brought the whole graveyard with him.
First would be the first woman president, first black woman president, and first Asian president. But I don't vote for who will be the first. I vote for who will win. And for whatever reason, Harris has never been popular. You can count the number of delegates she won in the 2020 primaries on one hand, as long as that hand has no fingers. In 3 years as vice president, she's been quieter than an electric car. And like an electric car, your MAGA uncle can't explain why she fills him with homicidal rage. She just does. Sometimes life isn't.
I can almost hear the collective rage from the woke mob as they watch Bill Maher tear into their two political mascots, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. You'd swear the soy lats were trembling in their hands. Honestly, Kamala Harris was never really a contender to begin with. It wasn't some grand conspiracy that kept her sidelined. It's that she simply didn't have a message, no clear vision, just a lot of noise with nothing to back it up.